It is the late afternoon, 2nd December, 1805. Sky is heavy and grey, and the air is filled with smoke that smells like gunpowder and earth. The ground is trampled by thousands of boots and hooves, and the snow is stained with blood. French troops are marching forward and securing the battlefield, while Napoleon is standing behind them, knowing what this victory means. Napoleon just won the Battle of Austerlitz. The battle crushed the Third Coalition of Russia and Austria, forcing Austria to make peace and giving Napoleon more control over Europe. Battle of Austerlitz showed Napoleon's strategic skill and marked the peak of his power, proving he was one of the best military leaders in history. His life is full of lessons about leadership, ambition, and overcoming challenges. Napoleon was born in 1769 on the island of Corsica. He wasn't part of France's elite, and he didn't have wealth or family connections to rely on. Imagine his beginnings. Barely speaking French, bullied for his Corsican accent, and often seen as an outsider in the world of French nobility. But instead of letting this break him, it fueled his determination. It gave him a relentless work ethic and an unshakable belief in his ability to rise above his circumstances. Napoleon buried himself in books, studying history, mathematics, and military strategy with a laser-like focus. He became obsessed with success, knowing that his future depended on his own efforts, not on privilege or connections. By the time he graduated, he had already begun to make a name for himself as a lieutenant in the French army. His background did not limit him. He believed that success was determined by his actions, not his birthright, and that belief became the foundation for his rise to greatness. Napoleon was known for his careful preparation before every battle. He believed that success came from being ready for anything, and he never left things to chance. One of his famous quotes, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity," perfectly reflects how he approached both war and life. He studied everything in detail: the battlefield, the enemy's tactics, and even the weather conditions. Every element was considered in his plans. But what set Napoleon apart was how he prepared for the unexpected. He understood that no matter how well you plan, things could go wrong. So he trained himself to think quickly and adjust his strategies in the heat of battle. This preparation for both the known and the unknown is what gave him an edge over his enemies. Take the Battle of Austerlitz in 1805 as an example. Even though he was outnumbered, Napoleon had studied the terrain and predicted how the enemy would move. He used the fog to hide the true strength of his forces, tricking the opposing army into thinking they had the upper hand. When the time was right, he executed his plan flawlessly, leading to one of the greatest victories in military history. Napoleon's success came not just from luck or chance, but from being ready for every situation, no matter how unpredictable. Napoleon wasn't satisfied with just winning battles or being a great military leader. He dreamed much bigger than that. He wanted to reshape Europe, create a powerful empire, and leave a lasting mark on the world. His mind was always focused on grand ideas, like uniting Europe under French leadership and bringing new laws and systems that would change how people lived. He didn't just think about small victories. He thought about transforming entire nations and creating something that would last for generations. Even though his huge ambitions eventually led to his downfall, there's something inspiring about the way he dreamed so boldly. Napoleon's life shows us the importance of thinking big. It's about not limiting ourselves to small goals or being afraid to chase something extraordinary. When we aim high, even if we don't fully succeed, we can still achieve amazing things and inspire others along the way. Thinking big means believing in the power of your ideas and having the courage to pursue them, no matter how impossible they might seem at first. Napoleon's ambition was what made him great, but it was also what caused his fall. He always wanted more power, more land, more control. But there came a point where his desire to keep pushing forward became his biggest weakness. In 1812, he made a decision that would change everything. He decided to invade Russia. At first, it might have seemed like a good idea to expand his empire, but it turned out to be a terrible mistake. His army, which had once been unstoppable, faced unimaginable challenges. The freezing Russian winter, lack of supplies, and constant attacks from Russian fighters destroyed his forces. Thousands of soldiers died, and the once mighty army was left in ruins. This was the turning point in Napoleon's story. It was the moment when his refusal to stop and rethink his plans led to disaster. After the failure in Russia, things only got worse. Napoleon was forced to give up his throne and was sent to live in exile on the small island of Elba. But even then, he couldn't accept defeat. He escaped, returned to France, and tried to regain his power during a period called the 100 Days. For a short time, it seemed like he might succeed, but his final defeat came at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. This time, there was no coming back. Napoleon was sent to live out the rest of his life on the remote island of St. Helena, far away from the world he once ruled. His ambition drove him to achieve incredible things, but it also blinded him to the risks of going too far. Sometimes, the hardest thing to do is to recognize when it's time to step back, rethink, or even let go. Chasing big dreams is important, but so is understanding your limits and knowing when to pause or change direction. If Napoleon had known when to stop, his story might have ended very differently. It's a reminder that thinking big doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means balancing ambition with wisdom. Napoleon's influence on the world didn't disappear when he lost power or was sent into exile. In fact, his ideas and actions continued to shape the world long after he was gone. One of his most important contributions was the Napoleonic Code, a set of laws that he introduced. These laws were clear, fair, and organized, and they replaced the confusing and outdated legal systems that existed before. Even today, many countries around the world use parts of the Napoleonic Code in their own legal systems. It's a perfect example of how one person's work can leave a lasting mark on history. But it wasn't just his laws that made an impact. Napoleon's leadership style and military strategies are still studied in schools and military academies all over the world. People analyze his decisions, his tactics, and his ability to inspire others, trying to learn from his successes and mistakes. This shows that Napoleon's legacy isn't just about what he achieved during his lifetime. It's about the ideas and systems he created that continue to influence the world today. The lesson here is clear. It's not just about what you accomplish in the moment, but what you leave behind for future generations. When you focus on creating something that endures, whether it's a set of laws, a new way of thinking, or even a story that inspires others, you ensure that your impact lasts long after you're gone. Napoleon's life teaches us that building a legacy is about more than just personal success. It's about contributing something meaningful to the world that others can benefit from and build upon. Napoleon's story is one of ambition, brilliance, and boldness, but it also comes with important lessons about balance. His rise to power, his victories, and his leadership continue to inspire us to dream big, work hard, and stay prepared for every challenge. But Napoleon's downfall reminds us that even the greatest leaders must know when to step back, reassess, and recognize their limits. As we look at Napoleon's life, we see not just a military genius, but a man who dared to shape the world around him, leaving behind a lasting legacy. His life teaches us that success comes not just from great victories, but from careful planning, bold vision, and understanding when to change course. Napoleon's journey reminds us to think big, prepare for challenges, and know when to pause, so we too can build something that lasts beyond our time.